Yeah! Welcome to the Racer X Exhaust Podcast, brought to you by Yoshimura, a company that I've been working with for so long that my ad tag here has grown outdated. It is not 63 years of research and development in four-stroke exhaust systems, as I have been saying. It is now 65! 65 years of four-stroke research and development. So they're 2 years more advanced than I even realized. Everything's still made in the USA. So check them out at yoshimura-rd.com. And now, podcast. Yeah, I got it in early this week. Also, thanks to Racer X Brand. Racer X Brand has t-shirts, hats, backpacks, all kinds of cool stuff from the fine folks at Racer X. We don't actually make the stuff in Morgantown. I would not endorse anything with our actual sewing or mechanical abilities involved. We have other companies make cool products for us. I'll give you 20% off your order. Just type in exhaust in all capital letters. And there's Racer X Illustrated, our magazine. Nothing you see in the magazine can be seen anywhere else. We don't post it on the web. We don't post it on social media. It's all exclusive. The March issue, I believe, I don't know which month it is. I just work on it and send it in, and then we send it to the printer. It has just come out. Davey Coombs, a really cool story on Chad Reed. I wrote a really, really cool story on Ryan Sipes. I mean, that's just what I think, which included going to Puerto Rico and donations and all the other crazy stuff, ISTE and flat track and motocross, GNCC, everything he did in 2018. Some other great stories in there as well, like Justin Brayton's globe-trotting, globe-world-traveling off-season, written by my esteemed colleague Steve Mathis, and a lot of other great stories. So check out the latest issue of Racer X Illustrated. Just go to racerxonline.com/subscribe, and we have a really, 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 3 reallys, better than the Sipe story, better than the Reed story, new thing coming soon for the magazine. Oh, it's going to be awesome. Stay tuned. But for now, let's focus on this podcast. At press day Friday, right before the Glendale Supercross, the two Okie buddies were in the pits together, and I have them in my crosshairs, and I got them for an extended interview here. They are Colt Nichols and Justin Bogle, best friends since apparently like 6 years old, which they will allude to in this interview. They've always had each other's back through the ups and downs, and good thing they have, because these guys have faced a lot of ups and downs. You might remember from the early summer, I had an episode of the Exhaust Podcast with Bogle, who had been going through a hellacious run of injuries and clinging to factory rides. It actually expired for him. He was completely out of a ride altogether until about 10 days before the Anaheim opener, when he picked up a replacement ride on the Rocky Mountain ATV MC-KTM-WPS team in replacement for Benny Bloss, who's also his buddy, who he rides with in Oklahoma. So if you listened to that podcast last year, you kind of understand Bogle's philosophy on life, the ups and downs. He did win a 250 East Supercross championship. He has won a 450 National, but in between, a lot of rough patches. Somewhat similar story for his buddy Colt Nichols, who, whenever he gets healthy, goes to the Supercross track and rides very well, often gets podiums, and now has won Anaheim 1 in the 250 class. But beyond that, Colt has dealt with femur breaks and humorous, that's not funny, ha ha ha, upper arm breaks. Last year, somehow Bogle and Nichols both ended up with broken upper arms at the same time. So even though these boys have been racing each other since they were kids in the Oklahoma area, and have both been riders on factory teams for the last few years, it is a rare moment where they are both healthy and racing at the same time. Luckily, they are not racing each other, because Bogle is in the 450 class. But since I had them together, since Nichols is red hot right now because he won Anaheim and continues to lead the points in the 250 SX West Series, and because Bogle has an interesting story now picking up the replacement ride with the KTM folks, I thought it'd be a good time to check in with both of them at the same time. You will also hear on occasion Brad Frace Another one of their buddies who used to race in the Oklahoma area, you might have heard on that previous Bogle podcast, Frace was paralyzed in a racing crash. He is now recovered to the point where you see him walking around at the races. He's not going to be able to race any longer, but he's still around helping these guys out with a lot of media. He and Bogle have some music projects on the side. He's shooting videos for YouTube and social media with Nichols and Bogle every weekend. He's just a rock that these guys can have on their side. And as I mentioned, they need it because the injuries, the ups and downs, the not having a ride, the getting a ride, all these things. It's been an emotional roller coaster for these two Oklahomans. Let's talk to them here in this edition of the Racer X Exhaust podcast. You guys are super buds. You even manage to get the same injuries sometimes because you're so tight. But is it falling apart? Is it falling apart now? He did win a race.
No, it's definitely not falling apart. One of the neighbors asked the other night if he was going to kick me out, and I said, I wish he would try. I ain't going nowhere. Good luck.
So you're living together in California even?
Yep.
But it's whose place is it? It's Colt's place. It's Colt's place,
well,
bro.
just here's the thing now.
All right.
It was my house for like a couple years, so he's just getting payback now. I'm like making all my messes at his house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Leaving all my dishes in the sink.
Things like that.
Apologies to everybody else who lives in the house.
I love it. This is like full moto style. You guys are both on factory teams. And how many people are living in this house? Jammed together.
No, it's actually just us. That's 4 right here. That's it.
Oh, Frace is in there too?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. You're in there too. Who's the neatest? He says you're the messiest. It appears, Bogle.
Absolutely.
You're just owning it.
Yeah, no, I know.
100%.
The thing about everything with life is awareness and, understanding yourself. And I do understand that I am extremely messy. I'm stinky and messy, you know what I'm saying? We can't be the best at everything,
But you guys go way back, way beyond this California living thing. In fact, you've lived in California together. This is not the first time?
No, whenever I did West Coast in 2016, I was staying at his house at the time when he had one out here. But even before, like we stayed
at Robbie's together.
Yeah, we lived at Robbie's.
This is going to be really good.
We shared a bedroom at Robbie's.
I'm going to go deeper than that. We shared a bed at Robbie's for a little while.
This is why when I said it, I was kind of stuttering on myself because I didn't want to go that deep. But yeah, no, it happened.
Yeah,
real.
We were fighting for this bedroom. It was the only one with a TV in the house besides Robbie's room. So none of us wanted to leave. So it was like who could stick it out the longest. And I won. But yeah, we literally did that for a little bit. But yeah, we've been living together.
For a house, so he did technically win. But
yeah, I did.
Oh, you mean no one wanted to be the one to lose?
Yeah, we didn't want to leave. Yeah, but finally he was like, I can't take this anymore. I'm leaving. So finally, then it was just a room to myself.
Yeah, that definitely happened.
What size was this bed? Was it at least fairly substantial?
Let's just not go there.
Okay, we don't even want to. We don't even want to.
Okay. We're starting this podcast off on the wrong foot, Weege.
Oh my gosh. So is it just the Oklahoma connection? Is that how you guys know each other? Or does it start there?
We've literally known each other since we were probably 5 years old. We've raced each other every single weekend.
Yeah.
We would stay at each other's houses growing up. We've just been friends since we were old enough to remember, basically.
Yeah.
And very lucky and fortunate because we were both very close in speed, and we raced each other every weekend.
Oh.
So we just elevated each other every time we rode. It was really good for us.
This is like the locals you guys were battling.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, Cooperland, yeah. All the way back, Pee Wee, 60, 80. I mean, the only time we ever got a break is when he was like 12 to 13. I was 7 to 11.
Yeah.
But otherwise, every single time.
1 day apart, but a year apart.
That's it. You're 364 days or 66? Whatever it is.
I'm 22nd, he's 23rd.
Your birthdays are almost identical.
Yeah.
That's unreal. Wow. At the pro level, though, you haven't raced each other, I don't think, that much, have you?
Not much. Just a little bit in Supercross in 15. That was it.
I got my late start, a little late start. So.
I'm so confused with your upbringing. You were on the normal pathways. You were Team Green.
Well, very normal schedule.
Yes.
My normal schedule, though, all my weird stuff happened when I was like 16 and under.
Yeah.
And then from then on it was fine.
Yes.
Till like recently. But he definitely has a wild situation coming through the whole thing. And it's so cool because when you're just meant for something, you're just meant for it. If it takes a little longer, it is what it is. When you're meant to be great at something, you figure it out.
I've noticed, like as I told Colt earlier, there were people around saying this Colt Nichols guy is really good long before you were actually on a team to reward you for that. But just explain what your pathway was. You had a little support as an amateur. You weren't completely off the radar.
You got a Team Green ride before I did.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I got a Team Green ride actually a year before Justin did in 2000. I think I had been 6.
Yeah.
And he got it the next year after that with Dave Gallen, and then I did that obviously my whole amateur career, and then yeah, I'm only a year behind Justin. So normally, like I was thinking, 2013 would be my last amateur year. That was his, I guess, first professional year.
Yeah.
And then it did not work out that way. My last amateur year was horrible. Same thing, kind of my whole career, just battled like the injury side of things.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of what led to the arena cross thing. As kind of that was my only option, and that was through
Right.
Ryan Holiday at Team Green. And then that led to the summer in Costa Rica after arena cross.
Yeah.
With Bowers and all those guys, and then yeah, that led to the Crossland thing the next year. So that was my first official season, but it was already a year later than it should have been.
Right.
But then even that season, I raced 4 races, got hurt, missed everything
you
else.
tore your ACL.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, tore the ACL that year. Came back from that, and that's when I got the ride with Cycle Trader. That was the breakout year, if you will.
Right.
So
So the Costa Rica thing, that was just a one-time, because
Yeah.
that's what the arena cross guys kind of did. You weren't, like, did you at least know there was a pathway, like, I'll get to Supercross eventually? Did you at least feel that at that time?
yeah, well, I mean, I felt it for myself, like he was
Yeah.
saying. I just was going to keep plugging away until I somehow got there. But at the time, it was an opportunity for me to A, make a little bit of money,
Yeah.
B, still have something to do. Because in the summertime after arena cross, what do those guys do? You know, you got to do something. It's either get a regular job or you find a way to race. So I got really lucky with that thing through Bowers and my buddy Casey Huntley, and even Zach Ames went down there, Nick Way, a bunch of those guys. So I got to meet a lot of good people and kind of branch out a little bit, and that was kind of the way it worked.
But why was there this Colt's really good legend? Was it during the week?
Because he is. Simple as that. What do you mean?
Because he is.
What's understood need not be explained. The thing with it is we knew it.
Yeah.
Me, Brad, Trey, Robbie, we all knew it because we see it.
Yeah.
It's even like right now for me with all the weird stuff that happened, it's like, yeah, but we know. It's just, it takes time. Like you get hurt, you're not there. People don't see it.
Right.
It's just the way it works. We knew he was going to do it. My whole life, he was like, we were like this, so close to the same speed. So when I figured it out, I'm like, he's not far behind that.
Yeah.
It's just he got hurt. I started getting hurt after I turned pro.
Yeah.
His started a little before. Cool thing is we're both done with it now. Am I right? Amen.
That's right.
Amen. So, yeah, but we all
right.
knew it. Like when we would show up to Trey's and we were running close to Trey's speed and he's winning races.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, you don't just do that all the time and not be good.
Right.
You know, so, and I mean, just watch him ride. That's the litmus test for me. Watch someone ride. He looks very skilled and talented and good.
Yep.
You can figure the rest of it out.
Yeah.
But that, just naturally being good at it, not a lot of people have that, you know, so we knew it was going to happen. Kind of the same thing happened with me, just riding at Trey's and going the same speed as him on my clapped out practice bikes, and him kind of talking about it and getting that started for me helped me too, you know.
This is in your pre-16-year-old days.
This was in my this was in the Cowie big bike days.
Yes, yeah, when you were like good, but then you went to another level after that. Okay, so yeah, it hasn't been super smooth then. You had your down part with injuries, you've had your down part with injuries, so how much have you been able to support each other as you've gone through these ups and downs together?
I'll take the first crack at this one.
Yeah.
Because this is super, super big to me right now, especially because I've learned so much over the past, 12 months.
Yeah.
And kind of having to go through it.
Yeah.
But all the people that are with me in this are just incredible. And no one in the circle ever didn't believe in it. So that was really cool. Or at least they didn't let us think they didn't, you know?
Right.
So things are going wrong. I got Frace with me, Jimmy Button, my trainer Corey, Robbie, Colt. We have each other when things are bad. It's like you can relate to that, but also help each other through it, because I believe in him. We always talk about, I'm the biggest Colt Nichols fan there is. He ain't going to beat me, but but other than that, I'm the biggest cheerleader for this dude, because I just know it's possible. And he's just one of my best friends my whole life. So I always believed that. So when you're going to go through it at some point, no matter what you do in life. So understanding that process, that, okay, yeah, you're going to go through some difficult stuff and injuries are a part of this game, but you can get through it, come out the other side and be good still.
Yeah.
You You know, it's not that weird thing where people just think that you just suck forever. That's just not how it works. Once you're a winner, you're a winner. You're good.
Yep.
You can figure it out again. It's just not easy, but nothing is. So,
give me an example of, were you guys both out with the same exact arm injury at the same time last year at what point?
Yeah, I think we actually were. Yeah, I had just done it, and then I did it again, and then he had done it, I think, right after that or right before that. Yeah, right before that. And then I got to race East Coast a few rounds, and I did it again. So, same injury at the exact same time.
Yeah. So give me an example of you guys getting each other's back. Is it a text? Is it a call? Or is it literally hanging out in person?
Yeah, I mean, it could be all the above, really. Yeah. But it's just knowing that that's kind of the beauty of it, too, is whenever you do have stuff like this, it's actually good for both of us because then you see it. Yeah. You know, like normally you get hurt or something happens. It's not even getting injured. This is life. You know, like struggling with your own personal issues aside from racing. And then you can know that you can call somebody and there's going to be no judgment. There's going to be no nothing. They literally just have your back. And they're like, you know what? It's all good. You know, like we're here. It ain't no big deal. We'll get through it and then we'll keep it moving. And that's the beauty of it too, because you find that whenever you are at that little rock bottom, you know? So it sucks, but at the same time, it's great because even somebody like Justin who was in this predicament where he had nothing before coming to this team and, you know, it was like, well, he knows who has his back and who's been there, and that's great, you know, because he knows that. You don't have to go searching for that. He knows the people he can count on, and that's important because whenever you look at it, you have to have that. And I know who that is for me, and he knows who that is for him, and that's beautiful that we can both do that for each other. And that's a true friendship.
Now, when you got hurt a couple times last year, Seth Rarick, who's one of your trainers over there, said, he's like, yeah, but Colt is so positive, man. He's so positive. But you said the second injury last year even took some of the positive. It was even tough even for you.
Yeah, it really was, man. That one was, it was just so emotional because that was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. It wasn't like everyone just told me, yeah, it's a typical like bone, but I didn't realize how big the humerus was and how like gnarly that is.
Bogle is shaking his head.
It hurts so bad. Horrible. If you've never done it, don't.
Yeah, it's horrible. It was not fun, but yeah, that one was tough just because like I did so well. I got second at Dallas, and I was not really even supposed to be there. Then the rest were a little rocky or whatever, but even my last race, I got second behind Jeremy Martin at Atlanta, and I was just kind of starting to find my feet, and then to do that again, I was like, man, it was really, really emotional and tough for me to do that. So I went home, back to Oklahoma, and got a little reset, and I needed that big time. Then once I got back, I was like, okay, it sucks, but it is what it is. You know, I'm going to get through it, just come back, and I'm going to take my time a little more this time. I'm not going to try to rush the process, which I did the first time. So it just taught me a little bit of patience, but like anything, perseverance, and it's all good.
Were you literally at the same stage, injury-wise, at one point? Were you both like feeling the same upper arm problems, or was it a few weeks apart or months apart where you weren't going through the same stuff?
I did mine in San Diego, and he did his right before Daytona.
Right.
So it was a little bit, and I was in Florida at this point too.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing for me too with like this whole discussion. I was by myself down there, dude, and it was no fun at all, you know, and then go through that, and then I sit back and realize like, okay, I need to go back home. Yeah. I need to be back around the people that I love, that I know care about me. Yeah. You know, so I had nothing, and me and Brad, I was at my trainers in North Carolina, called Brad, I'm like, he was at home for a couple weeks. He's usually with me, but I'm like, hey, meet me in Tallahassee. We're loading up the truck and driving to Colt's house. He's like, all right, cool. Met me there the next day. Yeah. We cross-country'd it, showed up on his door like, what up? We're here. What room we sleeping in? So, but knowing that, like, you can do that, and if he needed to come to wherever my house is, you can do that. If you need to, whatever, like, I got you. It's just the way it is. It's like, it's deeper than just that. It's like, you know, brother from another mother type of thing. You know what I'm saying? It's deeper than all that. So, I don't know. It's cool. We got a good group too. We can relate on a lot of things. And one of them too is just having people like even Robbie, because for a while he was having to ride one of Robbie's bikes because he didn't have anything. This off season, dude, I shit you not, I did 2 days straight of motos on Robbie's 125. This was recently, within like the last month and a half, because I didn't have a bike to ride.
Is this the legendary 125 that he raced at Loretta's?
I rode that one. He had a different one.
Okay. But that one's still around?
Yeah,
I rode that one too.
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
The legendary 125. Yeah. So at one point you were riding this bike when? In your like earlier pro days when you had nothing
Yeah, well, this was actually 2015. So 2015, I did the Crossland thing, and I came back and started riding a Honda after the ACL, and then the team was like just super iffy after that. And so there was about a probably a little over 2 month period where I just was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. So Robbie was like, well, I got my 450, just start riding it. So I rode outdoors on a 450 for the months of into September, November, then a little bit of December. And then I got a bike from Cycle Trader December 1st. Right around then. And then rode the month of December on a 250 doing Supercross. And that's when I came to California to stay with Justin and race the West Coast Series that year.
And that's where you opened the eyes. That's when the results started to come.
Yep, that was it.
When you started to get those results on Cycle Trader, it was like, whoa, this guy's on it. Did you feel that way? Or was it like, well, this is what I figured would eventually happen when I had the opportunity? Or were you surprising yourself a little bit?
No, I mean, I don't want to make that sound horrible, but no, I mean, not at all. I believed in my ability. It was just an opportunity to go out there and do it. Right. And for a lot of people, that's experience. I didn't have that. 15, I only raced 4 races, and I was just kind of starting to figure it out, and then boom, it's all gone. Yeah. So for 16, when I did start to kind of race and weekend to weekend, I'm starting to figure this stuff out a little bit, and Justin was helping me quite a bit, and it just started to kind of click, and then it felt a lot easier for me to do it. But it was just experience. But I always believed in myself. It was just a matter of going out there and doing it.
So are you Oklahoma again? You're Oklahoma right now?
I'm Oklahoma. I just moved to OKC. I'm actually one exit away from Benny now.
Benny Bloss now.
Benny Bloss.
Oh, so the Oklahoma crew is starting to build back up again.
It is. It's coming back.
Man.
We're just waiting for Colt to come back, to be honest.
Okay.
I bought a house with an extra bedroom so that he could, if he wanted to. Yeah.
Doesn't have a TV in it.
It's got a hookup for one, but I'm going to just let him figure that out himself,
Okay. Can you get Oklahoma in your program?
That's the idea. But that's what we're trying to do. It's a little hard, though, because, with how everything went last year with Star, Justin Cooper got third, Aaron won the championship, and we were California-based.
Really well.
Yeah,
yes.
So that's going to be the tricky part, and that's what I'm kind of going through right now. But for me, I would love to be back in Oklahoma in the summer. Yeah. It makes the travel easier, and being around Robbie and all these other guys, too, would be perfect. So that's the idea. I'm trying to make it happen, but we'll kind of see.
Okay, when the results do come for you guys, first, when he, won the national at the end of, that would have been 17, what's your reaction when you see him breaking through? Because, again, you had gone through some down moments.
First reaction is always to talk shit.
Yeah.
Oh, seriously? Is it really?
No, I mean, for him, mine was pure happiness, of course.
So but positive.
I'm on the more positive train.
Did anyone see the photo of me looking like a proud father after the main event last weekend? I looked like someone commented on it, was like, I wish my girl looked at me the way Justin looks at Colt. And that was real too, because
that was true.
Yeah. So no, it's definitely like, I left the gate and ran over there, and I didn't even think about my own race because I was so excited. Just because, as each other, we know what we've been through. And we've been through more than most have to get to this.
Yeah, I'd say. Yeah. Yeah, you told me the last couple laps of his race, at that point you'd become a spectator. You were not a guy about to have a 450 main, you were just spectating.
I was. I couldn't even, I would have liked to have stayed focused, but I was excited. And that first one, that feeling is something that you can't buy no matter what you do.
Yeah.
There's no drug that could give you that. So I know what he's feeling there, and I'm like, man, it's just, that's what you live for. That's why you can break your humerus.
Yeah.
That's no fun. And all that other stuff that you go through is for that. That erases all of it. It's so awesome.
When he won his moto at Colorado and then you won the overall at Budds Creek, where were you watching? What was going through your head as he's
Colorado? He was actually on the side of the track at the end.
You were?
Yes, I was. I was on the side of the track.
Budds too, actually.
Yeah, I was amped.
You were literally on the fence.
No, at Budds too. I was on that little step up right there. I was right there, and then whenever we go to staging, I was in the roller section, amped. So same thing though. I know what this dude does during the week. He knows what I do during the week. And it's not even that. I mean, everybody in the sport works hard. But it's the other stuff that we know that's a lot deeper, like the own personal battles and everything. I mean, that's what makes it even more special. So when it happens like that, it's crazy because I feel like that's me and he feels like that's, you know what I mean? It just feels like it's us doing it. So
you feel like you're part of it, but it's because you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I do good, it's it's us. It's not just me. I'm the one doing it, but there's absolutely no chance I'm doing this by myself.
Right. The whole thing is a shared shared experience.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a shared feeling, experience, everything. I mean, that's just a friend's thing. It's just what it
all the
is.
stuff you go through for that, like to get on the podium with each other and be like, to have that feeling. That's what you do it for. It's not even about the bonus or any of that. Yes, that is awesome. But what it's about is that feeling you get with your people when you do something.
Tell me about last Saturday night, after the race. You said you actually had a little celebration at the house. So what was that like?
It was more like, it felt like any other day, really, for me, like going home. Obviously, my mom and dad are in the car with me, and we were able to talk and do all that stuff, and, my girlfriend and my little brother and everything, and then we get back to the house, and, Justin and Brad roll in, and it was just cool because I could embrace that moment for that little small period with all these people that I really, really love, you know. So that was what made it the most special for me. And, waking up the next morning, it wasn't like anything else. It was like, okay, we're going to relax on Sunday or whatever. But it was just seeing like how it had affected other people is what got me. That's what made me like emotional about it, was seeing how happy my parents were. Everybody else that's around me, just seeing how much that really was like, wow, they just felt it for me. So that is kind of what gets you and kind of pulls on the heartstrings a little bit.
So what was that? Yeah, what was going on there? Just a coincidence that your family happened to be there, and you happened to be living in the same house. So it was the easiest Saturday night celebration ever because everyone had to be there.
Yeah, we didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just, I don't know, we're amped, because that's what you do this for, and you don't do that all the time,
Yeah.
I've only won 3 of those in my entire career.
Seems hard to believe. Like you won a title, but you only have 3 wins.
But you don't ever forget those.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You and yours don't ever. Everyone else does. You and yours don't, though. Those moments are something that you will take to the grave.
Okay, so you got a situation here. You were at one point trying to piece your own thing together. This phone call comes. I mean, we know this team's capable. It's factory-ish team, basically, which I'm sure you weren't planning on getting a month before the season. So what was that like when you get this call? Were you, like, freaking out?
It was, man, I don't know how to even explain it. I was just excited because we had such a turbulent few months where I'm left with nothing, and then we think we have something, and then it doesn't work out, and then we're like, well, all right, we'll try to figure out something else. And then, like I said, like with Jimmy, he calls me and he's like, it processes, and then he calls me back and he's like, dude, I'm not letting you go out like this. Like, I can't. Yeah. We're going to figure this out.
Yeah.
Like, how bad do you want to do this? And I'm like, dude, I'm too young and I believe in myself too much. Like, I can still do this.
Yeah.
Like, I think I can actually do it now, knowing what we know. So we were figuring it out. It was squirrely. We had a stock Honda that we were riding. Me and Frace were working on it. My dad was helping me work on it. Robert Raynard, Marshall Plum was helping me work on it. We were just...
You can't do shit.
Oh, so it was everybody but...
He needed some help.
Don't let him play me right
Took
now.
5 guys.
Trey taught me how to tighten my chain, and from there, it was almost like you gave me shoes, and I laced them up and took off running. You know what I'm saying? I can do a clutch now.
Whoa, okay.
You know what I mean?
Can you actually do a clutch phrase? Can you actually?
Yeah, he
Okay.
can.
Well,
He can.
we can do it together.
We figured it out. All me, Justin, and Justin's dad were all... We put it all together. We're like, sweet, we did it. And then we pulled the clutch in, and there's nothing. We're like, okay. And then we took it back apart, and then we figured it out, and then we're like, all right, we're good from here. Do it once.
It's been 10 years since any of us have ever worked on anything, to be honest. My dad
Even your
included.
dad, too?
Yeah, my dad included.
You got to go out there and jump jumps on this bike.
Yeah.
That's been bolted together by 3 dudes who may or may not.
And honestly, I don't trust myself at all mechanically.
Yeah.
I told Hutch one day, I called Hutch and I'm like, hey, I tightened my chain, I did all this.
Yeah.
You proud of me? And he's like, no, I'm scared for you. And I'm like, well, whatever.
Right.
Anyways, back to the topic.
Yeah,
Benny,
so you get this ride.
Benny gives me the call.
Benny called you?
Yeah.
Really?
Benny actually, because I'd been spending quite a bit of time with him out at the track, and he would just show up and just start laughing at me. Because Benny can be kind of a punk anyways, but he would show up and just look at me and be like, just laugh because I'm trying to tighten my chain or whatever I'm doing.
Yeah, yeah.
And 4 people are trying to help me swap forks or something. It was whatever. But this whole thing worked out. We flew out like the next day. Me and Brad showed up, and it has been so incredible. The bike is awesome.
Yep.
It's so comfy. And then everyone at the team is so cool. Like, that is often overlooked. The vibe around here is everyone is just very, like, cool and supportive and understanding of everything. Yeah. And it's just fun. Like, we talk about it all the time, but right now, I don't want to be in any other time period. Very happy being in the present because there's a lot of optimism for the future, and also it's just so much fun right now. We're having so much fun. I'm with my best friends in the world. We're chasing something that we care about.
Yeah.
I have a bike to do it now. I have
Yeah.
a team to do it now. It's awesome.
Hey, yo. Just a reminder real quick of our sponsors, Yoshimura. Check them out at yoshimura-rd.com. If you have a 4-stroke anything and you want an exhaust system, you probably want one of these. So go to the website and see the wide variety of things they have for dirt bikes, ATVs, and street bikes. Also check out racerxbrand.com for the latest cool swag, gear, attire, accessories, whatever you want to call it. And I'll give you 20% off if you type in exhaust in all caps. Back to the interview. Yeah, because honestly, between the two of you, how many times have you both been on a team, both been healthy, both been participating in the same races at the same time? Like, this math equation probably doesn't seem to happen very much. It seems like when you're up, he's down. When you're down, he's up, all that kind of thing.
Yeah, not very often.
So this is a pretty cool moment.
Yeah, it really is. Just because we can do, the travel stuff together.
Yeah.
We, come back, we can debrief from the race, be like, man, whatever. And we can actually, relate to that. So it is nice because it does, like you said, it doesn't happen very often, so we're embracing it right now.
Even today, just press day, we just rode the whole time together. It was so fun.
Oh, really?
It just, I don't know, it's just so much.
The old days.
It's so fun. You just feel like you're back at Rob's, just having fun.
So the amount of time you had on this bike is not much. You told me literally 3 Supercross days during the week as we head to round 2, but not. But you're surprisingly comfy with that. You're not totally out of sorts.
Now, like I said, the bike is so good and so comfy.
Yeah.
They have this KTM figured out, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible.
And where are you physically, by the way, after all the gnarly stuff from last year?
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
I mean, aches and pains that are never going to go away, but it is what it is. I'm not scared of that stuff. I understand how that works, and just being older, maturing a bit, understanding myself, my body, all the stuff that I have to learn. So I'm good with all that. The last surgery I had on my arm was a huge help.
Okay.
Fixing that super annoying issue I was having this summer. So that's good. I'm strong. I spent a lot of time with my trainer, Corey. We were crashing his house for a while, too.
Okay.
So we were up there and just in the gym every day trying to get stronger and just putting the time in off the bike so that when the time came to get on the bike, I was at least better, So I don't have much time riding in general, but especially on this bike, I don't have much more than a few days. But lucky for me, Blake and Benny did a lot of testing and had good stuff to choose from right off the bat. I haven't changed much at all on the bike, so I haven't really had too many kinks to iron out, really, just with myself getting more comfortable and confident with my riding, which is just going to come with time. My first time hitting whoops on a KTM in my life was Saturday morning at the race, so it's just going to take a look. And also, it was my first time on a KTM to hit the whoop side saddle and headbutt the face of a triple, so So, it's just get through it, progress as I can. It's a long series. I'm confident in myself, obviously, but I'm very confident in this team and this motorcycle. So I'm just excited to see the progression throughout the year.
Now, you two, Trace and Bogle here, we know that you got your musical exploits. I think you've been shooting some video here, Brad. Is he part of this program at all?
He's Pack EMH.
Is he?
He's been Pack EMH from the jump. From the start.
Do you have lyrics? Do you have? Is
No
that a skill of yours at all?
No music.
No. This is not one of your skills.
Tell him what you. Yeah, tell him what you do besides the sports side, though.
Well, I'm the hype man.
Yeah.
You're hype man.
I'm hype man. So if that ever happens, and go on tour or do whatever.
Okay. All right.
That's gonna be.
You have a role.
Yeah, I at least have some type of role. It's small, but it's.
But you're not getting him in the studio anytime.
I've tried many times,
really?
Honestly. He has good ideas.
Yeah.
And just naturally knows what's cool, so we all just figure all this stuff out together because we have no one to teach us anything, so we just figure it out.
Okay, but there's not going to be you featuring him. It's not going to be a music title anytime soon.
I don't know. I doubt it.
Okay, we have tried.
You've tried.
It hadn't happened yet. So
okay.
Yeah.
You tried for a long time.
Because he can for sure do it. He just won't do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm nervous.
Now, are you having to make sure that his head doesn't get too big now that he's literally points leader and everything?
The good thing with that is he's got a pinhead, so
he's got a little head, so
he's got some room to grow. He'll be fine.
Okay. Yeah, you told me you've tried to be the same guy this week. You tried to be the same guy. That's pretty good.
I'm very proud of him with how he's handled it, because even today, like, he's going so fast. It's like, it's just cool, because for like us, like, that little bit of confidence is what we need. It's not like a burden. Like, it's not like the pressure is bad. It's like, finally we have some momentum going. That's what I see with him, and that's awesome.
Yeah, like press day, honestly, most of the guys were cruising today. But you were not cruising. I didn't see cruise laps from you. Like, you were motoing.
Yeah.
It seems like you're just feeling it.
Yeah, it's just easier, I think, for me to do that and just stay as focused as possible and, you know, try to move forward. And I think it's easier for me to operate that way, where it's just like all or kind of nothing type thing.
Yeah.
So even today, I mean, I know it's press day and it's whatever, but I wanted to go out there and actually just feel great. Then get done riding and be like, man, I felt awesome. You know, I can't wait till tomorrow. So that was the whole idea, and that's what we were able to do today.
Did you guys even drive out here together and everything? Like, was it full?
Flew together,
lived together, hanging out right now.
There it is.
Two different teams are still hanging out.
It's not weird, though, because we've literally done it forever. So it's like, it's weird when we don't. Like, if Brad's not with us, it's weird. If Colt's not with us, it's weird. It's like,
I see.
I don't know, it's just weird. Like, we've always just all been together.
So for you, it's a lot better that you were messing around Florida, messing around North Carolina. You're kind of backgrounded.
Yeah.
Back together again.
Yeah.
I do want to give a shout out to you on your side. You're part of the Swanee program, which has been phenomenal. I mean, the amount of people, you're just another one now that he's taken from, well, let's see how this guy does, to winning races or even titles.
Yeah.
So what's the secret sauce there? Like, it seems to work every time.
Yeah, I got to get a lot of credit to Swanee, just because of, I mean, we've been through a lot together, you know, but I mean, same thing, like me and Robbie been through a lot together too, but when I came to work with Swanee, I felt like it was just maybe another little step of progression in my career and program, and that's exactly what it was. You know, when I got with Swanee, there was just so many different things that opened up, avenues to do this, that, and, you know, from the nutrition side to just being a little smarter with it to kind of everything. And I think he's just got his program figured out, and he knows how to take each guy and kind of try to point them in the right direction that they need to go, and that's important because it doesn't need to be so cookie cutter. And sometimes it kind of seems like it is, you know, because we're all doing this, or whatever, and it's the same. But at the same time, it's tailored to me. You know, like I struggled with my nutrition before I started working with Swanee a little bit, and we figured that out now. You know, that was a weak point for me, or just the consistency, having enough focus to do it the whole time. And that's kind of what we started to figure out too, and that comes with age too, you know. So.
Now, when you say struggle with nutrition, is it literally like you didn't care and you were eating junk food, or you wanted to do it, you just were doing the wrong things? You were trying, but just didn't have the knowledge.
Yeah, that. I mean, I think just trying to do something.
Chips all the time.
No. I mean, of course, I have a sweet tooth, but I mean, there was times, you know, I would have stuff I probably shouldn't, but for the most part, no. I mean, I was doing like what I thought was right.
I see,
but it just wasn't necessarily what was meant for me. You know, like I needed to lose a little bit of weight. I needed to be a little more lean. You know, I needed to do this, and that, and that's kind of just what we figured out in the past few years. But even when I started working with him, it's been a process. We've been working on this since, you know, 2017 or into 2016. So just the more time you have with anybody, the better it's going to get. And that's the way it's been with me and Swanee, just working together. He knows me, I know him, and what's going to work the best for me and what's going to work the best for him. So it's been a process, but I'm really happy with how everything is just so easy and fluid, and it flows so good now. And we have a lot of good people that are helping us too.
And it's not torture where you're like, this sucks having to do all this?
No, not anymore. I mean, it would have been that way even when I was younger at Robbie's. I'm like, man, this is horrible. But, you know, once I got in my head where I'm like, okay, if I want to race professional motorcycles, this is it. You know, once you kind of get that, and then the injuries and stuff happen too, and it makes it easier for me to be like, okay, I'm going to do everything I possibly can, because getting injured sucks. And if I can look back at one thing and be like, I wonder if I didn't do that, maybe I wouldn't have got injured. I don't know. And that was the big thing this year, was eliminating everything I possibly could that would have any doubt, and just making my program as consistent as possible.
I've heard from you and Cooper and other guys on your team working on weaknesses. Is that actually track stuff? Like, I know Swanee's a trainer, and he knows nutrition and fitness, but are we also talking about time on the track and breaking down sections?
Yes, 100%. Yeah, because even up until, I don't know, I guess the 3 weeks prior to A1, we were working on stuff that I knew I was not good at last year. And that was a big thing too, is being honest with yourself, being like, hey, I do have a weakness. And, you know, we need to focus on that, because a lot of people don't do that. They don't want to admit they have a weakness. So for me, that was important. I was like, okay, I struggled with this, and this last year. Let's try to work on that big time. And so that was a big emphasis for me and Swanee this offseason, was trying to do that. get the bike better to where I needed it, but also myself. And so we would spend days just working on exactly that. And I feel like it's worked really, really well. And a lot of people really don't do that. So we took the days aside from, instead of just doing the 15s every single day, you know, we were like, okay, we need to focus a day on this. And I'm really happy we got to do that. It's helped a lot.
How do you figure out what's right and wrong? Is it video? Is it you just have a feeling? Is it Swanee or somebody sees it? How do you know what was wrong and what's right?
I think all the above. The visual is good, and that's why it's so nice to be on such a good team. Like Justin was saying, you have the people. So like me, I'm at the track, and not only is Swanee there, but Will is there, you know, our team manager Brad, you know, and all the other riders too. So it makes it nice. We all ride together, and then they all can see things and be like, hey, you're struggling here. We can visibly see it. And then we can go back and they film it, and they're like, look, this is what we're talking about, you know? So then I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So then you can kind of put it all together and try to work on the weakness and get a little better. But that's the big emphasis for us, was trying to get better in those areas.
Can you name one? Can you name one of those areas?
Well, one, consistency was just kind of everything, but the starts were horrible last year.
Starts were horrible.
Yeah, I was not very good in the whoops last year. I, you know, had a problem with, like, kind of pausing in the middle of the turn a lot. Wow. Just like some little stuff, you know, that...
Getting podiums.
Yeah.
But still, all these things you feel you could do better.
Oh, I mean, of course. We can all get better, you know. I mean...
God's working on all.
Yeah, I mean, 100% is. But, I mean, it was just some little stuff. And then now that we've kind of worked back on all that, I feel a lot more confident in all those areas.
Do you see stuff? Like, when you watched him ride last week, is it different? Or is it the same old guy?
It's more confidence, and that's the biggest part of it. Because you're like, oh, and getting podiums. Well, yeah, because he's good enough that you can come through the pack and get on the podium.
Right.
But his starts were so bad last year. And we always kept saying, like, dude, if you just get a start, you'll win.
Yeah.
You hadn't got a start yet.
Yeah.
Gets a start and he wins.
Yep.
That's what I just know, because that's what happened for me. I got bad starts. I could come through and get thirds.
Yeah.
But I couldn't do any more than that, because those dudes are good.
Yeah.
But then the first time I whole shot a Supercross, I won. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, okay.
Yeah. Yep.
So I knew that was the case. And, like, that's also just confidence, too, knowing that you can just do it. And
well, for most, you're one of those rando dudes that can just literally come off the couch, as we saw last year, and bang hole shots regardless.
I'm gonna tell him.
That's a special talent.
Here's the thing: me and Brad were driving to the airport to go to Southwick, the first round that I raced, and I was like, "Dude, we didn't practice any starts." He's like, "Oh well, too late now." Then I went and whole shot every race the rest of the year almost. So.
There's only a handful of dudes. Like, look, you probably knew that it wasn't going to be awesome for 30+2. I would assume you kind of had a feeling. There's not many people who are willing to get the whole shot, knowing that's the case.
Yeah. Well, I mean, number one, I'm a little bit crazy anyways, but but there's always a chance. Every time I got to the gate, I'm like, well, yeah, but, like, what if I get third or something?
Okay. All right.
I don't know. What if I just...
Yes.
You never know what can happen. So I want to put myself in the best position to where if things go, I don't know, I could do it maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
That's the way my brain works. There's always a chance. There's always a chance. So that was how we were approaching it. And regardless, it's scary to start in the back and in the middle of the pack, honestly.
I see.
And roost sucks. So I would much rather whole shot. And it's not just easy to do that. Like, it's difficult, but I'm very confident in my ability with it. So, yeah, we were joking about not practicing them. I really didn't, but that wasn't on purpose. I just didn't ride much, and it was just kind of a weird deal. So,
hey, when you were out front, okay, you're trying to win your first race. It's the most pressure-packed race of the year. Track's kind of dodgy, and it rained, and I didn't realize this. You were apparently horrible at starts all along. I didn't know this. So I don't know how often you were getting whole shots.
Did you see his starts last weekend?
Yeah. So I'm saying, like, was that a weird scenario at all? Up front in the most pressure-packed race, haven't had a ton of whole shots already. Was that weird, that experience? Did it get to you at all?
I mean, it's weird, just because it's uncomfortable, you know, and if it's uncomfortable, people don't usually like that. You know, they want to be in their comfort zone, and I think that's why most people usually start where they do, is because it's comfortable for them, you know. Yes. So when you get out front, it's almost like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. But, you know, I did a lot of stuff this offseason to help with that side of things, you know, like trying to be better if I ever got put in that position. So I was really, really happy because I had this whole plan laid out before it happened, So then when it did happen, I was ready for it, and I knew exactly what to do. I knew how to handle it, and I was happy with the way everything went because I had that in my head so many times. It almost felt like deja vu, So that was fantastic, and I was so happy with the way I was able to execute all of that. Because, like you said, it is unfamiliar, and that usually scares people. So I was really happy with that.
Was there any point, even like the last lap, where it started to feel like you were out there forever? Like, when is this darn checkered flag coming out?
Yeah. My mechanic, he actually had 4 to go on the pit board.
Yeah.
And then I was like, these are probably going to be the longest 4 laps of my life. But, I mean, after that, though, I was like, if there's only 4 laps to go, I don't care what happens, I can do this. I've already made it to this point. Like, I can handle it. So once that happened, it was the countdown, and it was just hitting your marks and making sure everything was just as perfect and as focused as I could possibly be. And I was able to just execute the last few laps, and it was perfect.
And this guy was here when it was over.
Yeah, he was right there.
He was right
there. Him and Brad both. I looked down, I could see both of them. I was like, sweet. There they are.
So there it is, Justin Bogle and Colt Nichols. I love talking to these guys because they are articulate beyond their years. You talk to these people, and you'd feel like you're talking to some world philosophers or college professors who have been through all this. I mean, they just sound so knowledgeable and, again, articulate. When you think about, hey, they're just 20-something-year-old dirt bike racers, but they've been through a lot. There's no doubt about it, and maybe that helps. They certainly have, I think, perspective on a variety of different levels in this sport that maybe a lot of other riders don't have. I mean, Nichols was riding in Costa Rica at one point just to make some extra money. Certainly wasn't a chosen one as far as making tons of money and having a factory ride and everything was guaranteed, and we've seen Bogle have his ups and downs as well. So I thank those guys for the time. Wish them good luck in the races upcoming. That includes our first Triple Crown race this weekend, Anaheim 2. And they're saying weather is coming in. As always, when it comes to predicting mud races, I will believe it when I see it. They only need a small window. If it doesn't rain between 5 and 10 p.m. on Saturday night, the track will be fine. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. It could rain as much as it wants right now. I'm recording this on Thursday morning. It's approximately 5 a.m. Pacific. Go ahead, rain. Doesn't matter. Track's built. Track's covered. It'll be fine. But boy, a muddy Triple Crown race. Haven't seen one of those yet. That would be crazy. It'd be crazy. As if this season isn't crazy enough. Justin Barcia and Blake Baggett are our first 2 winners this year. Are you serious? Ken Roczen is the points leader for the first time since he was injured in 2017. By the way, the last time he had a red plate was going into Anaheim 2 in 2017, and that's the race that essentially ended it all for him. But now he's back to the points lead. Maybe he would have won if we hadn't seen the red flag staggered restart at Glendale. All of these things just add more questions to the equation. Get your tickets now. Watch Supercross. Be excited about Supercross because as nutty and crazy and unpredictable as it is right now, generally by the end of round 5, the entire season starts to take shape. I know that's sad. It's a 17-race championship. But generally by round 5, we actually have a pretty good idea of how it's going to shape up. So just keep that in mind. Love these next couple of races. I usually think round 3 is the best race of the year. Triple Crown is going to make it a little bit harder to predict what's going to happen. Maybe the weather. But either way, these next 3 races are going to be crazy. Rounds 3, 4, and 5 as these riders try to establish themselves. It is going to be so fun. I'll be there at Anaheim. Hopefully you are too. If you are, stop by. We have a show at the Fly Racing WPS area at 5 o'clock every day on race day. So stop by if you want. And then right near that, we'll have the Racer X subscription booth. Stop by there. I'll be hanging out there. Also, Steve Mathis will be there too. My apologies. Anyway, thanks for listening. This is the Racer X Exhaust Podcast brought to you by Yoshimura. 65 years of 4-stroke research and development. Check them out at yoshimura-rd.com. Go to racerxbrand.com. Get your swag, 20% off. Type in exhaust in all caps. And check out the latest issue of Racer X Illustrated, which should be arriving in mailboxes right now. And stay tuned for some really cool news involving magazine subscriptions coming your way, but I can't quite say it yet. Ooh, we're going to leave with a cliffhanger. That's the Racer X Exhaust Podcast for this week. Thanks for listening.